This is the one I just painted, and now I'm going to put lacquer on it. Yeah, they're kind of scary. You know, at my farmer's market shop, two different people will look at the same sculpture, and some will say it's adorable and some will say it's the stuff of nightmares. So I understand what you mean. But, you know, they're kind of funny. I like them. I like this guy. He's just like, no, this one. Sorry. Just taking a nap. This one, highly unamused. Anyway, I've cast it in concrete. I've lacquered it, then painted it, and now I'm lacquering it again to really weatherproof it. Well, thanks, I appreciate it. Check this out. I'm going to write in the chat a place where I have like an online gallery of all my sculptures. You can check them out. It's my Etsy shop. Let me just write it down. ClayBraven. I'm typing right now. Hold on just a second. ClayBraven.etsy.com. ClayBraven.etsy.com. Okay, look at the chat message right now, and that's where you can where I have all my sculptures. If you want to check them out. Hey Tina, I'm going to turn on the fan, and all the smell is going to go straight over there. So watch out. Here it goes. It's okay now. I have a visitor in my studio. There we go. I'm just tilting it so the lacquer doesn't drip. Oh, thank you. Yeah, please do go check it out. That's just my Etsy shop. You don't have to buy anything, but I just like to show off. That's all. All right, now these are all ones that I have already finished painting and lacquering. And now all I have to do is put some buffing wax on them, let it dry, and then polish them, and they'll be all ready to mail out. I'm going to write this down again and make a pinned message. Hello, comma, welcome to my sculpture studio. I'm speaking. Welcome to my sculpture studio, period. Feel free to ask anything. Feel free to ask anything, period. And check out my finished work at ClayBraven.etsy.com. Yeah, that didn't work. Hold on, I'm typing my message here. There, now at YouTube, I just created a pinned message that shows you where my sculptures are, if you want to check them out online. So this one's all done. I just have to set it somewhere where the lacquer can dry for a couple of hours, and then I'll do for it what I'm about to do for these here, which is to put buffing wax on them. Hi, Patty R. 4,600. These are my concrete sculptures. I cast them in concrete, then paint them and lacquer them, and sell them at Etsy, which I will type into the messages again just for fun. Check out my finished work at ClayBraven.etsy.com. So at Whatnot, check out the latest message if anybody's watching, and you can see where my Etsy shop is. It's like my online gallery where I have everything. And that's where these are all going. I've just sold these on Etsy, so I'm going to mail them out tonight. And before I do that, I'm going to buff them with buffing wax. Are you back? Hello. Okay. I like to put wax on them just because there's something subtle about the natural organic shine that it makes. It's not too shiny, not too plasticky. It's just a perfect finish. After the wax hardens, that is after the wax hardens and after I buff it with a buffing rag, it just looks perfect. Right now, when I put the wax on before it dries, it's a little dull. It makes it look, it takes away all the gloss, but it'll come back in a really nice, natural way when I buff it after it dries. It takes about 20 minutes. This one I don't think I'll put wax on. It's just about the right finish already. What's my favorite thing to sculpt? You know, I always have a favorite, and it's always whatever the latest thing that I'm working on is. That grape sculpture that I just finished is my favorite now because it's just my most recent sculpture. But when I sculpt in clay, water-based clay, I really like to try to learn how to make Art Nouveau style ornament, and it's very tricky for me. It might be easy for some people, but Art Nouveau has been sort of a lifelong challenge for me. About every 3 or 4 years, I go back and try to learn how to do Art Nouveau ornament. And I've come to the conclusion that you can't really imitate it. The best way is just to try to develop your own aesthetic and your own motifs, your own decorative motifs. And I'm just starting. I'm still starting. After 12 years of trying, I'm still sort of a beginner at Art Nouveau ornamentation, but I've got some good things in the works. Maybe this year I'll come up with some good finished sculptures that I can make molds from and cast in concrete, which will incorporate really nice Art Nouveau ornamentation. Okay, this has buffing wax on it. So this one. These guys are pretty funny. This guy's had it. He's just had it with he's stuck in this pod with these other peas and he can't stand them. This guy's just cracking up. He's like, what? This gets really popular around Mother's Day because I guess families with 3 kids give it to their mom. But Crystal, you asked what's my favorite thing to sculpt. I guess in the end, over the years, my favorite thing to always to sculpt is sort of this kind of mild caricature of human faces showing emotion in a slightly cartoonish, I would call it mild caricature. Not really extreme, but expressive. That's what I like to do. I tried serious portraiture for a while, and I just found it really tedious. Trying to be um, extremely realistic, I guess you'd call it. I like to be slightly cartoonish, but not too much. Hi, Miscellaneous and Jackie Laird. How's it going? So this is kind of the most enjoyable part of the process when you look at the sculpture and it's all finished after all the hours that went into it. So these are pretty much done. All I have to do is wait for the wax to dry and harden up, and then buff them with a rag and send them out to the customers. So I showed you these grapes, and actually yesterday I cast another one of these. So I'm gonna take the raw concrete of this sculpture out of the mold right now. So take a look at that, and I'll show you the process, the earlier stage of the process. Get these out of the way. This is what the mold for this sculpture looks like after I've put the concrete into the mold. Check this out, see? Okay, so that goes like that. Pop it out and do all kinds of painting and things. So I'm about to take this out of the mold, and it's the moment of truth. We'll see if I made any mistakes. This is just a shell. Like I make it out of orthopedic cast material. The reason I like gypsum-based orthopedic cast is because it doesn't crack when you smack it against something. I've used all kinds of materials, and most of them, on impact, they shatter or crack. All kinds of putties and Bondo for cars. I've tried that. Tried really expensive stuff. I like plaster cast because it's cheap and just durable. Okay, let's open this up and see what's inside. I don't like to strain the rubber mold too much. It's pretty durable. This is hobby rubber. I just bought it at Amazon when I made this mold. There, that's a good mold. Oh, I like it. it's hard to explain why this looks so good, but one reason is there are no bubbles. When I cast it, I was really careful. When I poured the concrete in here, I was really careful to get the concrete to flow over the surface of the mold and eliminate bubbles that form between the concrete body, the fluid concrete body, water-based, and the surface of the rubber mold. I did a lot of shaking and a lot of tapping with a paintbrush, and the result is a really good cast without any empty pinholes or empty spaces that obscure the expression. There's a little bit of a hole here, which is no problem at all. See, that's a high point of the mold, and it really doesn't take away from the aesthetic at all. It actually, I kind of like a few of these little holes like this one right here, as long as they don't occur in the face of one of, or an expressive part of the sculpture. And it's light. Even though it's concrete, it's strong and light. It would be very easy to just dump concrete in and flatten it off, but this thing would weigh 15 pounds. Anyway, there it is. I really do have to cast another one of these today. And it's getting dark soon, so I better just do it. Let's just do it. I've got to prepare the mold first. I just use a popsicle stick. Get the encrusted concrete off the surface. Just clean it up. I just finished this sculpture about a month and a half ago, and it's been really popular. It's really satisfying. So I've got to make. I keep selling them online at my Etsy shop. So I've got to make more. There's a local gallery that wants one, and I need one for my farmer's market display. So I've got to make some more. This one's so light, and to me it just feels elegant, strong but light, that I'm going to use this one for my farmer's market display, because I have to physically carry it and lift it every morning to set up my display. Sometimes I make the ones for my Etsy shop. I'm going to have to ship them to people, and I need them to be a little bit strong, so I make them a little heavier sometimes. Fit. Come on. Trying to write top. T. O. O. P. A little Crisco in the mold so the concrete won't stick to it too much after it solidifies. I want it to stick while it's fluid, And while the concrete is fluid, I want it to stick to the inside, but not after it hardens up and I have to tear it out. Well, thanks, Ezra. I I think anybody could be really good at art. It's just a matter of spending time on it and working in that zone where you're having a good time and enjoying yourself, but you're not quite sure what you're doing. That's when you're really learning. And none of this came naturally to me. It all came, I mean, I made a lot of junk that I had to throw away. Actually, a lot of really good artists that I've gotten to know, they tell me they make 10 things and throw 9 away and only let people know about the best one. It's called hiding the evidence. So people think they're artistic genius, but they just throw away all the stuff that they're embarrassed of. Now, this is dry and it says top at the top. So I don't know where the top is. Oh, check this out. I love doing this. This is like a 3D effect. It's just a weird optical illusion sometimes with some molds. I don't know if it's working or not, but it's kind of funny. Hi, Toga. Just doing random studio work today. Hi, Honey Depot. This is kind of short. This one's a little longer. Let me see. I think this one's going to be better. I'll put it right about here. Okay. I don't use gloves when I cast the concrete because it's really important to feel what's going on. When I'm messing around with the concrete, you really have that sensory feedback on the consistency of the cement. Okay, let me get some Set brand all-purpose construction mortar. No problem, Toga. Just Whatever works, works. This is, I call it concrete sidewalk cement, but actually it's, technically speaking, a contractor told me it's a mortar. Mortar is cement with sand mixed into it instead, and no gravel, not pea-sized gravel. So I call it concrete because that's just what everybody understands, and myself included. But a technical person would say it's actually mortar. But it's sidewalk cement. All right, let's just get moving. So here's the plan. I make some relatively fluid concrete. I mix it up with enough water that it's about like a thick tomato, like a thick pea soup or vichyssoise. Then I put that in the mold and I swoosh it around so that it covers the inside, and I use a paintbrush to get it completely covering the inside of the mold so that there are no bubbles between the concrete and the surface of the mold. That's the way to get a nice smooth cast. And that's the first layer. Then I let that solidify too, about the hardness of leather. And then I put in another layer for that's thicker for structural strength. And sometimes a third layer, but usually just the two. So let's go. Okay, that's a good fluidity if I work fast. Maybe a little more water, only on the part that I'm going to dump in right now. Make a little soft spot down here. Okay, let's get it in there first. I'm going to keep it fluid. This first layer doesn't have to be structurally strong. If it's too wet, it'll start to foam up and make more bubbles, and that's just that causes more problems. What I want is a good interface between the concrete body and the surface of the mold. So I'm just tapping it in with the brush. All those little surface details The noses and the mouths, the corners of the mouths. I got to keep bubbles from forming in there. So I'm going to press into each and every little face. Just press a little quickly to get the concrete to flow. Into the tips of the leaves. That's important too. Okay, next I want to slosh it around a little. Okay, let's dump out the excess. That's really good coverage. All right, now let's let that harden. Let that stiffen up a little bit until it's about what they call leather hard. Just leave that undisturbed. I want that to get firm and this to stay fluid. I'm going to set aside a little bit of this for reasons that will become evident as it solidifies. And yeah, that's good. This I'm going to keep more fluid than that and more fluid than that. Set that aside. Now this can take some more water. I'm going to pour it back in here. And when this is leather hard, it's going to be absorbent. And the layer that I pour in on top of it will stick to it. kind of like slip casting in a way. But first I have to let this layer get strong enough that the weight of this layer won't pull it away from the surface of the mold. So I'm going to let it sit for a few minutes. Resist the temptation to mess with it. All right, I'm going to go wash these and be back in 90 seconds. No, it's all done. I'll finish. I'm just doing that. I'm just casting now. What? Oh, the package. Yeah, just, just for fun. Hey, Jess. See, this is where I can see that this is YouTube and this one is whatnot. And this is still not hard enough to pour this in yet. So I want to focus on keeping this fluid, keeping that from getting too hard, but let it solidify a little bit. I want that to be like clay, and this to be like pea soup, and that to be like leather. That's what I'm waiting for. Okay, so like, this one's funny. Okay. I'm waiting for that to firm up a little bit. Oh, it's getting there. Just a little bit more, like maybe 2 more minutes, and I think it'll be ready. This will go right about here. looks good. Almost ready. Yeah, firm. Okay. Now I'm going to pour this in here, and my real goal will be to get it to thicken up these really thin areas here, so that the overall structure will be strong enough, like this one, when it solidifies. A little bit stronger than stoneware ceramic, but thin enough to be light and workable, handleable. Ouch. Okay, let's go. Then I'm going to use this batch of concrete, which in a few minutes, it'll have a firm clay-like consistency, to do things like create a ridge around the edge here, a structural ridge, and create two little plinths to stick the wire into that'll hold the wire like this, here and here, and this ridge around here. Okay. Okay, it's going in. Now you see how the concrete that I just poured in is much more fluid than that previous layer. I'm just going to try to keep it up around the edges as much as possible, because the center of the sculpture is already the deepest part down here is already thick enough. I don't need any more down there. I think I'll try dumping out a little excess and see how that works. Yeah, it's good. It's working well. I like it. Okay. That's good. It's going to be a good cast. Just clean it off around the edges. Okay, now I just have to wait for this to solidify a little. And while I'm doing that, I can look around for really thin areas that I can thicken up with this stuff. And I can use this excess to make some little refrigerator magnets. Using this other mold. Making a mess. Supposed to go in there. Okay, come on. Leave this alone. Okay, I'm gonna wash this up and be right back. Ooh, that's getting solid. Yeah. I'm gonna mix some of this up with it. Okay, that's too sticky and slumpy. It's like sticky and slumpy right now, but hopefully in a couple of minutes, when this is firm enough to take this treatment, this will be more like clay and less sticky and less slumpy. That'll be in about 3 minutes. Now, the next step is taking this and using it to complete this cast. That's still too fluid. It won't even hold the wire yet, so I have to wait for this concrete to solidify a little bit. This is still too sticky, so it's going to take another 3 or 4 minutes to firm up to clay-like consistency. While that's going on, I can buff up the sculptures that I just put buffing wax on. This is one, it's all complete. It's a complete concrete cast, lacquered, painted, lacquered, and waxed. And all I have to do now is buff it to shine up the buffing wax. So let me get a rag for that. Paper towels work as good as anything else for buffing. Here we go. Check it out. See, it was dulled before, and look at that forehead part where I just buffed it. Watch here. It's just shiny enough. It looks, something about wax buffing makes for a really natural looking, organic looking, polished stone surface. And if you have a sculpture that's really flesh tone and looks like a real human hand or human face or something, it can really make a huge difference. Make it look very natural. Okay. So this is all finished and ready to send to the customer after all that work. So now this is when I drop it and smash it usually after all that. Done. Let's see how these are doing. It's getting there. This. Nope. Nope. Too wet. Gotta wait. Okay, that's all done too. That's ready to ship. And here's another. All right, that's done too. before I ship it, before I pack it up for shipping, I'll probably run over it with a clean shoe polish brush, horsehair brush, to really polish all the little crevices back here that I can't reach with my fingers. So these are done. Now let's see how this cement is doing. This is about ready. It's really cold today, so the concrete is firming up slowly but surely. Yeah, sometimes it stays soft for a long time. Let's see if this is firm enough to hold the wire. Almost. Like that. Yeah, that's better. It really wants to slump down. The concrete wants to slump down to the bottom of the mold. That looks good. Yeah. Yeah. The slightest agitation will re-liquefy that concrete and the wire will just fall back down. So I have to let it get a little firmer before I mess with it. And when I mess with it, I'm going to take this concrete and make like a rim, a structural, just a rim all the way around the sides. I don't know if this is going to be enough. I could start depositing the concrete where I need it now. See if it'll stay. Then I can smooth it out later. It's still so gooey. I need it to be firm like clay. This may not be enough. I might have to mix up a little more. No, this won't be enough. That is by no means finished. Okay, I'm going to wash this off, mix up a little handful of concrete to finish this ridge around the edges. That should be enough. Maybe a little more. This will be too much. This batch of concrete has to be about the consistency of clay. So the last thing I want to do is put too much water in and make it soupy, which I just did. Look at that. This would be perfect for pouring into a mold. Where it's, I need clay, not soup right now. So I'll put some more in. Yeah, it's really firm. It's gonna be like clay. Okay. Also, it's gonna solidify really fast if I don't keep mixing it. So I'll have to be careful with this batch. The stuff I put in there before is still goopy. It's not hardening up very fast. I think because the air is so cold. Where did I put my spatula? Hold on a second. There it is. Okay. First, let me see if I can smooth off these a little. Whoa, this is getting hard. Okay, I gotta just constantly knead this stuff because it's got very little water in it, so it's gonna harden up very quickly. But it's a great consistency for working. It's gonna be really strong when it cures too. You just lay it in there, smooth it off a little bit, then go back and work on this real slumpy area here. Look at that. It's so gooey. Why doesn't it harden up like this stuff? Let's put some of this there. See if that helps. Stay. See, it's all slumping back down. That's all right. Let's just keep working with this stuff here. Gotta keep kneading this. Ooh, that was slumpy, goopy. Okay, come on. Stay. Look at that. Hold on a second. Let's try this. Okay, that's kind of good enough. Let me just make sure that no portion of the mold is sticking through the concrete in a way that'll make a hole in the sculpture. Frankly, it's quite inelegant, but it'll make an okay cast. It'll be strong enough. I think I got a really good interface layer. Now I have this bunch of concrete that I have to do something with. I'm going to set this aside so it won't be agitated while I'm working on the table. This is enough to... I'm going to toss this into a mold somewhere and make a partial cast of something. Let's see what would be good. I'll just do this face here, and I already have a wire to put into it. So I'll make a little bit of a soft area that I can brush into the mold, soften it up a little. That'll be good. Just put this in. And like this. Like this. And this will be a really interesting partial cast of this sun face sculpture. Sold quite a few. I think I sold 3 or 4 of these last year at my farmer's market stall. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to wash up and finish. I think we're done. Thanks for watching the video.